Welcome everyone. My name is Andrew Burian. I am the Assistant Chief in charge of the Administrative Bureau. For the first part of tonight's ceremony, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the men and women from the Hawaii Police Department who have been promoted to the rank of Major and assigned to the Technical Services Division. Thomas Chopay III. Promoted to the rank of Captain and assigned to oversee the Criminal Investigation Unit and Office of Professional Standards, Kakloy Orillo. Promoted to the rank of Captain and assigned to the Area 2 Criminal Investigation Division, Brian Prudencio. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Records and Identification Section, Nelson Okob. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Special Response Team, Aaron Carvalho. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Area 1 Criminal Investigation Section, Zachary Fernando. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Area 2 Criminal Investigation Section, Michael Harney. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Kona Patrol District, Eric Jackson. Promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and assigned to the Kona Patrol District, Jeremy Lewis. Promoted to the rank of Sergeant and assigned to the North Kohala Patrol District, Antonio. Promoted to the rank of Sergeant and assigned to the Kona Patrol District, Christopher Toro. Promoted to the rank of Detective and assigned to the Area 2 Criminal Investigation Section, CC Melendez. Juvenile Aid Section, Chandler Messino. Promoted to the rank of Sergeant and assigned to the Administrative Services Section, Amy Omaya. Promoted to the rank of Detective and assigned to the Area 2 Criminal Investigation Section, Joshua Bob. Promoted to the rank of Police Operations Clerk and assigned to the North Hilo Police Station, Joni Wyden.
Officer Benheiden, Toro, a 9-year veteran of the Hawaii Police Department, is being awarded the Certificate of Merit for distinguished and exceptional performance of his duties on June 10, 2019, during the arrest of a violent offender. Officer Del Toro was a field training officer in the Puna District when he responded with his recruit and other officers to a call of a violent abuse case on Papaya Farms Road in Pahoa. Officers contacted the suspect who exited his dwelling brandishing a metal spear, moving aggressively towards the officers. They were able to eventually get the suspect to drop the spear. However, the suspect turned and fled on foot, and officers chased him down and took him to the ground. Officer Del Toro ended up under the suspect, who began punching Officer Del Toro in the forehead. Officer Del Toro was trying to control the upper body of the suspect and had his arms wrapped around him. when the suspect turned his head toward the right side of Officer Del Toro's head and bit his ear, ripping the top earlobe and causing excruciating pain. Officer Del Toro knew he could not let go of the suspect would be able to get back up and the situation could escalate further. So he maintained his position and refused to let go, despite the suspect biting him a second time. Officers were eventually able to arrest the suspect. Officer Del Toro sustained multiple lacerations and puncture wounds to his right ear from the suspect biting him over and over. Officer Del Toro stayed at the scene and continued teaching his recruit, ensuring that the investigation had been completed properly before he sought advanced medical attention. After coming back to the POA station and providing his recruit with clear instructions on what else needed to be done, Officer Del Toro then drove himself up to the Hilo Medical Center for treatment, where he received 8 stitches to repair his ear. Officer Del Toro was never recognized for his efforts and the injury he received that day that left him scarred, and this award is long overdue. Officer Del Toro's integrity, professionalism, humbleness, and dedication to his chosen profession is unrivaled in the Hawaii County Police Department, and I am thankful that he served the community that I live in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce Officer Benheiden Del Toro.
I'm a sergeant in dispatch. I'm here to recognize one of our dispatchers, Rowell, Ching, with the Certificate of Merit. Rowell began his career with the Hawaii Police Department as a Police Communications Officer on December 11, 2001. Prior to that, he worked at L-Safe, an electronic safe company on Oahu. He moved to the Big Island in 2001 and worked at his family's restaurant. Rowell's been married to his wife, Alofa, for 27 years, and they have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. As they struggle with being empty nesters, most of their time away from work is spent relaxing with their dogs. They both enjoy paddleboarding and golf when time permits. On January 11, 2023, at approximately 9:30 p.m., a fellow employee started her break and was still seated at her console when she began to choke on something she tried to swallow. At first, she tried to wash it down with water, but that didn't work. She became lightheaded and dizzy and couldn't breathe. She then ran over to where Rowell was sitting and displaying the classic choking motion. Rowell was able to immediately recognize what was happening and the gravity of the situation. He then performed the Heimlich maneuver, freeing the item, allowing her to breathe normally. According to the fellow employee, a few months prior, Rowell was watching a video on how to perform the Heimlich maneuver and mentioned to the other staff members that knowing the Heimlich maneuver could save lives. This employee remembered what he said, which is why she ran over to where he was sitting. She's grateful that he watched that video and credits Rowell with saving her life. I was working that day in dispatch, and when the dispatcher came over and told me what happened, I went to the call center and I asked Rowell, did you do the Heimlich maneuver? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, how many times did you have to thrust? And he said, twice. So when I was trying to get more information from him, he's like, excuse me, sir, I have a 911 call, and he went back to work. I have no doubt that Rowell's quick actions prevented what could have been a disaster in the call center. Good job, Rowell. Please come up and accept your
Good evening. I just want to take a moment before I begin to thank everyone who helped make this recognition ceremony transition from just another crazy idea into reality that you see before you. There are 2 people behind the scenes that I'd like to recognize, Ms. Lynn Peterson and Ms. Wendy Shimizu. They certainly are the brains and the secret weapon behind much of the planning and logistics you see here evidence today. So ladies, thank you very much for your help. It also happens to be Administrative Assistants Day, and those 2 are they're the best bodyguards money can buy for sure. Mr. Lord, Commissioner Lassiter, Sergeant Correa, Officer Arnold, Officer Kaneko, Officer Santos, thank you very much for honoring us with your presence and for helping us to recognize the 16 newly promoted individuals we recognize today, and 1 more who couldn't make it, he's on the mainland. So 17 total promoted individuals and 2 merit award recipients here tonight. Your support obviously makes all of this possible. It's no secret that police work has always been a challenging and dangerous business. Yeah, I agree. I can personally remember suffering at least a dozen bruises, scratches, dog bites, broken bones, cracked ribs over the past few decades. But lately though, and I think you'll agree with me, something seems to have changed. You need look no further than this last weekend's headlines. Duo arrested after shots fired at Big Island Police. Last week on Thursday, we had two individuals driving around our island shooting at officers, and they came within millimeters of assassinating one of our own. But despite these challenges, I'm here tonight to remind all of you that there is hope. We have a group of women and men who have literally committed their lives to protecting our community against the evil that I promise you is out there. I know that policing is not an easy job, especially today with increased societal demands and increased scrutiny. But that being said, I am honored to be a member of this department. I'm proud of the work that our officers and our professional staff do each and every day, and I'm committed to doing everything in my power, both to share their great work with the community and to getting them the tools, training, resources, and working conditions they need to help keep our community safe. I venture to say there's another group with us here tonight who also share my feelings of pride and commitment, especially as it relates to tonight's honorees. I'd like to recognize them as well. To the family members, friends, and loved ones assembled here tonight, thank you. Having been a cop for a really long time, I know firsthand how important it is to know that you have someone at home and you have the support of those people at home and in your life. Simply put, it makes doing a very rough, sometimes obnoxious job bearable. So on behalf of the community, I want to thank each of you for lending us your loved ones, especially for the late nights, the missed birthdays, and the holidays. You truly are the unsung heroes here, and I challenge each of tonight's honorees to make sure that your loved ones know how important they are to you. That's a piece we don't do well as cops. So that's your mission, your assignment for the evening. Take a moment, whether it's tonight on the ride home, out for dinner, sometime over the coming days, and tell them thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Just trust me, they deserve it. And finally tonight to our honorees. Officer Del Toro, your selfless commitment to getting the job done right is exemplary. Your ability to put your own well-being aside and focus on the mission is exactly the kind of thing that sets our officers apart from the rest of the community. And Mr. Ching, a simple thank you seems wholly inadequate. When seconds counted, your quick thinking and decisive action literally saved the life of one of your coworkers. And to the newly promoted major, captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and detectives, I have 5 fast challenges. I promise they're fast. First and foremost, I challenge each of you to lead with integrity. Without integrity, there can be no trust. And without the trust of the community that we serve, anything we do is meaningless. Second, I challenge each of you to find opportunities to collaborate. Quite possibly the single greatest opportunity we have in policing today is to form partnerships with the community to get the job done. Especially in Hawaii, especially today, we need to keep finding ways to work together. The mission is just too crucial for us to fail. Third, I challenge you to remain accountable. Of course, you will need to be accountable to your new bosses and your new job responsibilities, but please don't also forget that you need to be accountable to your families and to the people who you will be leading. Fourth, I challenge you to lead from the front rather than manage from your offices. I won't lie, leadership is hard. You will need to use your influence to convince people to do things that they might not want to do. However, the alternative is not acceptable. The mission has to get accomplished. And finally, I challenge you to explore new ways to innovate. The excuse, and this is my favorite for the last 3 months, that's how we've always done things. It's just not good enough. Right? We need to do better. We owe it to the people who work for us, to their families, and to the community. So those are my 5 fast challenges. They're certainly fast to explain, but they're anything but fast to accomplish. They will take dedication, they'll take hard work, and they will take commitment. But fortunately, those are the same traits that I see in each and every one of you here today. So I want to congratulate you, finally, each and every one of you on your accomplishments. I hope you take the time to celebrate your accomplishments and enjoy the evening and the next few days with your family and loved ones. Be ready, the real work starts on Monday. Thank you very much.